So, hello everyone. Um, Today's topic is to whom it may concern, because I think I mean it probably also was important to me to hear this at least uh, once in my entire life. I probably should start applying my own knowledge as well. And today's topic is um start getting comfortable with losing. You know, start getting comfortable with being the loser. You know, it'll never get easier. Like, of course, you will, if you are the loser, it for sure will um affect you mentally, and it will bum you out and all this stuff. But I truly think that the sooner you start losing, the sooner you get prepared for winning, if that makes sense in any way. Because I feel like, you know, usually, I mean, even myself, I don't want to um, most recent example, I don't want to fail an exam, obviously, even less if it's one I studied hard for. Um, so by, you know, getting comfortable with losing, I mean, hey, if you fail this exam, it doesn't have to be the end of the world, and you know that. I mean, you and me, we both know that. Just because um, it didn't go as you planned, or you didn't have enough time to study, maybe, I don't know, exam was harder than you thought, and you failed. That's okay. And really, the sooner you understand that is when you actually start progressing, I think. The sooner you understand that nothing really bad happens when you fail, you know, you get comfortable when you do things, you do new things. You simply, you know, just lose the fear of failing and just do more the stuff you're doing more confidently, if that makes any sense. Probably it does, right? Like, it's not that hard to of a concept to grip. You know, I think it's pretty reasonable what I'm trying to say here. Like, don't worry about failing now. Don't worry about failing tomorrow even. Because after that, there's another day and you can try again. And if you failed all these previous times, like, what's one more failure going to do to your life? Like, does it really add up? No. I mean, that's why you're here. You're here to just fail and experiment stuff. So don't worry. Just start failing. You know what I mean? It's like this with everything in life. Super important to be capable of dealing with failure, because if you don't get used to it, even I myself, I feel like I had this problem. I wasn't used to failure. You know, I was always like, oh, such a gifted kid, special kid. A lot of people go through this. But then, I don't know, sometime, somewhere, and along the way, you just like get hit with a cold water bucket in your face that reminds you you're not as gifted as you thought, and you just like the other kids. You know, that like splash of reality may appear in um, your your middle school, high school, college, even in your job. Like, doesn't matter when or where in your life you get hit by the reality of you're just another one of us who's trying out. The important thing here is that you know you're like the others, so you realize you're like in an even playing field. So you just have to try your best and succeed. And if you don't, well, doesn't matter. You get it next time, for sure. I think the important part is, just try new stuff out. If it doesn't work out for you, maybe it wasn't for you, but just in case, try again. You know, you never know. And if you really like that thing, you get good via just trying and trying over and over again, just failing. I think it's a good way of going through things. You know, as I said, the fact that I used to be a quote unquote gifted kid made me, I don't know, but gave me more, gave me a lot of problems because, I always thought, okay, no, I'm supposed to be the smart kid and I'm supposed to be, um, you know, good with numbers, or I'm supposed to be good with languages because, oh, my mother said so. Oh, I'm good, but I add, adding up two and two. So that must be something. Um, so I used to demand a lot of myself. I used to, overwork myself, overstudy. Just I skipped out on doing things I like because I've always had this weird sense of responsibility that I needed to do good. I needed to, because if I didn't do good, then everyone would be disappointed in me and I was just not being myself. So there was probably many a times where consciously or not so consciously, I just skipped out on, I don't know, going out with friends or doing other fun activities because I prefer to, just study and meet everyone else's expectations, not going out of my usual routine. But now that I've grown older, I won't say I regret doing that because I don't like blaming my past self, me personally. I feel like that's kind of shitty. But it's different for everyone. Although what I will say is that if I was there with my young version of myself, I would say, hey, don't worry, go try that. You know, because as I said, when you're, I don't know, 12, you have a math exam tomorrow, and I don't know, what do kids do at 12 in school? I don't know, equations? Like linear equations? I don't know, maybe you have a math test tomorrow, and as an adult, it's the dumbest math exam you've ever thought of. But as a kid, it's hard. You just learned all this new stuff and you put it into practice. So when you fail that math exam, you feel like you're dumb. But in reality, that doesn't define you, right? I mean, it's just a dumb exam. And it's not even on a hard subject, you know? It's just that you don't know yet. You're just too young to know what's a hard subject or not, in math specifically, or in any other subject at school. You're just learning the basics, but even the basics feel hard because you're new to this. Okay, nobody expects you to uh, be born and with the knowledge. So when all these people tell you, "Oh, you're such a gifted kid. You do everything so quickly. You you have such a good intuition for stuff." Obviously, they're not doing it to hurt you actively, but I do think it's important um, to let, especially, okay, to let everyone like deal with failure, because then it gets to the point where, like me, you just, I don't know, get to a later stage of your life and you realize you haven't really lived because you've been trying all this time to meet up uh, with the expectations other halves of you. Um, you try to live up to uh, their image of you in their head. You know, "Oh, you're such a studious kid, kind of like a nerd, you know." So you obviously don't like sports. This is something that happened to me. Okay, but I'm going out of topic now. Super important for you to try new things out because eventually you're gonna fail. Okay, you're not going to be good at everything you try. So when that inevitably happens and you do fail, you should learn that it's okay and it doesn't matter. And that goes not only for your earlier stages of life, it's not only valid when you're 12. You can also fail while being an adult. You know that. Don't worry, okay? It's going to be fine. Just fail and succeed later, okay? There's time for that. No, nobody's rushing you. Nobody expects you to perform like this or like that. You just be you, okay? Don't worry about that. I feel like something that can help with getting comfortable with failure is try to find a hobby. A hobby that, you know, you're really, really ass at. For me, that was like playing guitar. I'm really bad at playing guitar. But I got a guitar and like I just started playing, and even though I'm probably still pretty bad, I liked it. I like music, so it wasn't that hard for me to like get into that and start playing. Even though I was bad, at first I couldn't play the songs I liked because they are pretty complicated. They're not so beginner friendly. So the only thing I could do was just practice, and I was stuck practicing for a while until one day I just stopped being bad. I think at playing guitar, and I became somewhat decent. But it was a long journey. Like, for real, I think I've been playing guitars for 2 years at this point, and I wouldn't say I'm good. Still, I've gotten better, yeah. Well, it definitely wasn't a talent, you know. So yeah, try to find something you're really bad at, but it looks enjoyable, at least for you, and get frustrated. Try again and again and again until you succeed. You know, you might end up liking that thing that frustrated you. And I think that if you start liking something that used to like um you know put you in a bad mood because like you used to fail, I think you get more comfortable with doing stuff you are bad at, because it gets easier. um how do you say it? It's like it gets easier every day. It gets a little bit easier. It's just the pure truth of it all. Also, like, you probably noticed, I haven't done a lot in this world except like run, doing nothing for an hour straight. Yeah, that's kind of the whole deal. I mean, not only I'm like focused on what I'm talking about and how to like talk properly in a language that's not my native one, but also I was kind of searching for things, but there's not really a lot for me to do here. It's kind of empty. So yeah, but I promise I'll get something done, okay? Also, you have to consider it's hard when you play just for 20 minutes every single day. You know, you kind of just log in, start talking, time goes flying, and boom, you're done. So it's not like I'm super connected between sessions. But yeah, maybe do us like I'm doing here, you know? Try something new. Try uh, maybe force yourself to make this new and weird thing, you know, adventure yourself to try to upload to YouTube, maybe talk to strangers. You'll focus, you'll probably face a lot of rejection. You'll probably face a lot of failure along the way, especially if it's something that requires exposure of you. Probably, obviously, it's not easy and it's not for the weak of mind, for sure. Like, you might get some hate or some losers online. There's a lot of them. But yeah, I mean, don't worry. Losers are everywhere, okay? So get used to them. Just try new stuff out. Don't worry. Be cringe. To be cringe is to be free, they say. So yeah. Goodbye, everyone. And see you tomorrow.